in its entirety. If you don't have time to read the entire thing, I strongly encourage you, if you read only one thing, to read Justice Roberts' dissent. At the very end, Justice Roberts says to what he perceives as the winners out of this majority opinion, he said, go celebrate your love, go celebrate your marriages, go celebrate with your families, and I'm not saying it entirely verbatim, but he says, don't go celebrate the Constitution because it had nothing to do with this. I couldn't agree with him more. And so, of course, our next question is, well, what's next? Because this is a slippery slope. Roe v. Wade was a slippery slope, and I believe that was clearly decided wrongly. So I have signed on to a bill, and that's why I picked it up. It's the First Amendment Defense Act that prohibits the government from taking certain actions against individuals and organizations, like denying or revoking tax-exempt status based on people's beliefs or support for biblical and traditional definition of marriage. We need to vote on this. We need to vote on it now. I'm not optimistic that this president is going to sign it, obviously, but people in this country need to understand that there are freedoms and liberties at stake, and that there is a slippery slope ahead of us, and there will be more litigation, as you have already seen. Now, as far as what happened in Canada, you know, again, slippery slope. We start with that. We start by fencing off. I mean, the majority opinion, in my opinion, and I think many of you will agree with me, leaves the door wide open. It does not protect the very people that this bill that I have signed on to seeks to. So I want you to know we're pushing our leadership to move on this. I think, again, it's a lost opportunity for us to define and be protected our beliefs and what we believe in.
Do you know that the ESEA reauthorization bill has in it the mandate for universal learning by design, which moves us away from academics to attitude, values, and beliefs? Are you okay with that, and will you work to stop that?
Okay, again, this is a really, really good example of a lot of misinformation that has gone out about the Student Success Act. This is the reauthorization of No Child Left Behind. It's no longer called No Child Left Behind. It is way overdue for a reauthorization. It is the exact same bill, actually stronger in one area that I'm going to touch on. It's the exact same bill that we passed in the last Congress. I supported this bill. I was on the Education and Workforce Committee when the bill was written. I got language included in the bill that we crafted that states no dollars can be used, the federal government cannot use dollars to force states and school systems to adopt any curriculum, and they even inserted the word Common Core. It is in the bill. So there is a lot of information that is out there saying that this is a Common Core bill. It is not a Common Core bill. We wrote the language that prevents federal tax dollars to be used as a carrot and a stick to force states like Alabama to adopt specific curriculum and standards. So, for anybody who is interested in this, and I know Betty Peters is here, and she and I have talked about this, anybody who wants us, we have put together kind of a fact myth sheet, and I think you have that, don't you, Betty? Did we send that to you? All right, well, we'll get it to you, but I can get you as much.
That wasn't my question.
No, I'm not saying it was. I'm not saying it was your question. I'm just saying, I mean, it's important that you know that I'm in communication with your state school board representative. We do talk about these things, but that bill has been, there is so much misinformation out there about what this bill does. So anybody that is interested in fully understanding, and I will get you a copy of the exact language that prevents any federal dollars from forcing a state like Alabama to adopt curriculum and standards in there.
I'm not sure what was in the brain of the person that wrote that, but there is something called social emotional learning, and I think that's what probably they're referring to.
That
social emotional learning is everywhere. It's, you know, they probably didn't use the terms with y'all.
a 30-second answer on this one,
Yeah, right.
and we're over. It says, what are your thoughts about Trump and Ben Carson? Do you think Trump can win?
I was surprised that I didn't get that question first. Okay, look, I haven't picked anybody, and I think it's early, and I'm not going to pick anybody for a while. I want the cream to rise to the top. I want an opportunity for real debate. If every one of these presidential hopefuls was standing in front of me right now, this is what I would say to them. Don't tell me what the problems are. I know what the problems are. Tell me, if you're commander-in-chief, how you're going to solve the problems. That's with the Congress, because we matter still, despite what this president thinks. Tell me what you're going to do to fix the problems. I want to hear the solution about how we're going to properly fund our military. I want to hear the solution as to how we're going to fix the VA so our veterans have access to care. I want to hear how we are going to make sure that agriculture is on the right track for our state and across the country, and how we're going to feed this nation. I want those solutions. I want details about their plan. Now, I understand in this very crowded field, in this very short, limited time for debate right now, it is very hard to articulate those things. And there are some candidates that are getting more attention than others right now. And look, some of these folks are saying what we all feel. I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, maybe we should all be a little bit more honest and upfront. Politicians have a tendency to not do that. And so there is a frustration with folks like that. So look, I'll let you know. I promise. I'll let you know. I'll let you know the second I make up my mind. But I know that I represent a constituency that likes lots of different candidates, and I think it would be a better idea right now to just sit back and watch. I mean, I'm most concerned right now, and I'll tell you the issues I'm most concerned about, outside of jobs and the economy, which matters to all of us. I am most concerned about our military and defending this nation, our veterans and making sure that they have access to care in a timely fashion, and our stance on foreign policy and how we are going to present ourselves to the rest of the world. Those are the questions that I have for each of these candidates, and I'm hopeful that they will outline specific details about how they hope to accomplish that. That was